They should be quiet.
Pretty tight.
I'm looking at that other truck. It's pretty quiet.
But we'll have to.
He's got to the seats. And I might look at it. I said, you get it, because it's an Amarillo or something like that. Anyway.
Should be a good truck.
Yeah.
Did you turn the camera on yet?
Sheriff doing good?
Fantastic.
Good. The only way we want you to do.
That's why you hear that guy.
That's another night of it.
Thank you, Lauren.
I mean, that's a for sure. My nighttime is my ritual.
Good morning. We'll call the meeting to order. Young County Commissioners Court setting a regular meeting Monday, April the 24th, 2017. It is 9:30 a.m. We'll make note that the meeting has been posted and published in the manner for the time required, and that all members of the court are present. If it's convenient, please stand. Commissioner Sykes, I believe, lead us in our invocation and our pledges.
Let us pray. Our most gracious Heavenly Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for this privilege that we have to serve this wonderful county as commissioners and commissioners court. Thank you, and lead us and guide us to make proper and good decisions. Please help us to make proper and good decisions in our personal life. Thank you very much for the wonderful blessing of freedom and liberty that we have in this country. Thank you for the green spring, the beautiful flowers that you have dotted across the landscape. All this we ask in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you. Please, sir. Item number 3, public comments, announcements, and presentations. I have noted on here this beginning the week of the young child. You see the blue ribbons tied around the trees. Maybe some folks with a blue ribbon pinned on them. That's we'll have that all week long, and there will be a ceremony, I believe, at some point in time here this week in Courthouse Square. Also, that is to bring to the attention to all the trouble and problem that we have with child abuse. That'll be going on all week long. Next, we have it says reminder. It's a reminder that we just finished with the kickoff ceremony of the Young County New Veterans Memorial Project. It was rather lightly attended due to the weather. It was miserably cold, and there was some brave souls that got out there and weathered that. We thank them. It was a good event. There were a few military vehicles. It was a great ceremony, and I was glad to be a part of that. Next we have on here is doesn't necessarily require any action. It's just the letter from the jail commission and the certificate you'll find in your packet with regard to our our jail standard compliance letter and certificate. It was a very complimentary letter. Sheriff, do you have anything, any comments you might want to say about that?
Well, yeah, one, I mean, this new jail administrator we have has worked really hard making sure that we did pass. And I'd just like to congratulate him and a job well done and all of his staff.
I actually think it was probably performed a week or so earlier than was expected, so it was a kind of a spur of the moment.
Actually, he was thinking and believing that they probably wouldn't come in until May, and then they just kind of, they walked in, so that's good.
So that was good. It was a real complimentary letter, as you see in your packet. So, are there anything else that needs to be?
Yes, I think the Commissioner's Court should congratulate the Lady Blues in securing the district softball championship this past week.
Very good.
Outstanding game, good group of girls. Go Lady Blues.
Boys have been in playoffs too, I guess.
Yeah, boys are there too.
Boys are there too.
Got a lot of baseball going on. We're real fortunate this area's youth really does really well.
Yeah.
Puts its mind to it.
Did I read in the paper where there was something like 19 off the team that were representing and going to be represented in the state meet? Region.
Some track meet kids. Also, one of our judging teams was 4-H, won a state championship,
They're going to state, qualified for state.
qualified for state.
4-H team and my son's only FFA team qualified for state.
Cool. Awesome. That's a tribute to our agriculture 4-H programs.
Is there anything else? Okay, we'll move on to item number 4, and that's consider county clerk's minutes from previous meeting, April 10th, 2017. Are there any additions, corrections, or deletions that need to be made to those?
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Wiley, a second by Commissioner Rogers. Approve those minutes as presented. All in favor? Carried 5-0.
There was a change that she made. You know, the ones in our packet, there has been one change made, I know, on this,
Well,
we approved.
that's been noted on the official recording of it. That's correct. As presented here. Item number 5 is consider the treasurer's financial report. I think we had that back to us. Anything you want to say about that, Ann?
No, everything looks good, and it's just so nice to have the liquid insurance fund. Don't have to add money to it anymore.
It's a change in
Yeah, everything looks good, everything's balanced.
What's our percentage so far in taxes?
In on the taxes, we're 100% on we're actually going over now, 7 over.
Good.
They got a new computer system, and so it was a little delayed for April, but we got about 75,000 in April.
It seems to be working a lot better than it was beforehand.
You say we're at 100% collection?
We're actually over now on the current taxes.
That's of what we expected to collect.
Right. The delinquents of the penalty interest, we won't catch that up with what we've projected until the end of the year.
Yeah.
So move on the board.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Wiley and a second by Commissioner Rogers to approve the treasurer's report as filed. All in favor?
Aye.
Carried 5-0. Item number 6, consider auditor's budget amendments, payers, vouchers payable. Almost like Bible payers.
We have vouchers, total of $109,248.44. And out of the general itself is $93,504.97.
Okay, no amendments?
No, sir.
So moved on vouchers.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Wiley, second by Commissioner Pruitt to approve the vouchers payable as presented. All in favor? Carried.
I have 2 other invoices that I'm asking to pay out of the special funds, not in the budget. We ordered all new batteries for the panic buttons in the courthouse. I'm sure that we haven't tested them, but I'm sure they're dead. Well, we're gonna pick a day and change all those, and when dispatch is real busy, and start testing those. I'd ask that $53.67 be taken out of courthouse security.
How much?
$53.67.
I made you break that.
Well, yeah, I asked Ann, there's thousands in there.
11,956.
And I have a bill, JP3 over at Alney. He had a very, very old computer and it crashed out on him. He said if we go ahead and get 2 new computers and the 2 monitors over there, we could ask to pay it out of tech fund, which would help out our budget. For 2 computers and 2 monitors, total is $2,077.98 out of the JP Tech Fund.
There's 48,000.
I move we approve the expenditures as presented by the auditor.
Second.
Security.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Sipes, second by Commissioner Pruitt, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, if he needs to, I think Marcia can do that and, but
If you
if-
fill it into it.
yeah.
And that would be to fund, where are you paying those out of?
The 2 computers and 2 monitors out of JP Tech Fund.
JP Tech Fund. Okay, and the batteries out of the courthouse security?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Carried 5-0. Ratification of financing for 2007 dump truck as was approved in our April 10th meeting. I think we've got all that signed, this motion to ratify.
I move we ratify the contract with American National Leasing for the dump truck at precinct 1.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Sipes and second by Commissioner Wiley to ratify such contract and financing agreement. All in favor?
Aye.
Carried 5-0.
That's a 299.
Huh?
299.
299? Moving up?
Yeah, it is.
Mean your CD rates are moving too?
Yeah.
A lot slower than the others.
Okay, we have another little thing here, is the, regarding the Affordable Care Act, reporting and tracking. It's a renewal contract that we've had with TAC, with no changes, if I understand, and what you talked about that.
And that's TAC will administer the 1094 and the 1095C that y'all received in your mail, just showing that you had insurance for the year and what was paid. They're doing this at no charge, which I think is
The way it
awesome.
costs to that.
And I know it takes a burden. I mean, we could do it, but it would,
I've done it before.
when we were self-insured, Ann had to do it. And also, I noticed it said in there, if required, so maybe they're thinking this is part of the Affordable Care Act that's gonna go away.
Well,
It could be short-lived.
Yes.
Well, on Tuesday, I have an appointment with them. They have a new system that you can log on, and anybody that are part-time that are getting close to not being in compliant comes up on a separate report. And we never could view that, but they have a tracking system now that we can pull it up and see. She said it flags them if they're getting close, so we know that we need to cut their hours or put them full-time, offer them
That should be a good
insurance.
deal.
How many hours must an employee work to have insurance?
30?
30?
Well, I don't know, I thought in our.
29 is the,
Yeah.
you have to cut off,
I
right?
had a question about that because the policy says to be a
32.
full-time employee, they have to have 37 and a half, or 37 and a half hours, but to keep their insurance is just 32.
Yeah, it says 32 in our personnel policy. I think with Obamacare, that all changed. They're allowed to be 30, so that might be something we need to,
That's been modified by federal law.
Yeah, we need to look at that.
that trumps us,
Yeah,
I guess, a
trumps.
little bit.
I'm
That
afraid
may
it
be
does.
going away too. So that may be going
That's
away.
why
maybe
let's
we'll-
not, let's not modify it.
Yeah.
We have had some issues with some employees thinking that they'll get their full pay and keep their insurance if they only have to work 30 hours. So it's kind of makes,
But you're stating it's 32 to keep it, correct?
That's in our personnel.
but that doesn't mean they get their full pay. And they're thinking they only have to work 32 and keep their full-time pay and their insurance.
Why would they think such as that?
I don't know, but I deal with it every payroll.
I understand.
Something to look at.
Individually,
That's
that's
probably pretty quick.
Have a motion to renew this contract with TAC.
I move that we renew that contract with that.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Sipes, a second by Commissioner Wiley to renew our Affordable Care Act reporting and tracking contract with TAC, our current insurance provider. All in favor?
Reiterate that it's zero cost, right?
Zero cost.
It even says waive in our.
It does say. So you notice I put a zero in there.
Item number 7 is consider employee bond, Carolyn Sue Honeywell, deputy tax collector, $5,000 bond.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Wiley, a second by Commissioner Rogers to approve such bond on Carolyn Sue Honeywell at $5,000. All in favor? Carried 5-0. Item number 8, we have some representatives from the New Century Veterans Memorial Project. They want to put some sidewalks down, a brick that's inscribed. He's got some examples of that. Ruth Callum and Larry. Okay.
You all do know me, and Larry is the vice chair of this committee. I want to make sure you had an opportunity to meet him as well. And Larry also he's retired military, and he's was Marine, is a Marine. Once a Marine, you're always a Marine. And
No such thing as next Marine.
that's right, that's what I understand. And Larry, in his free time, is the president of Freedom Care Warrior Ranch. So, and in the other free time after that, he's involved in many military organizations. So he's been a fabulous assistant chairman, vice chairman on this committee. We're at the stage where we've begun selling the plaques that go with the base, and I don't know if all of you have had a chance to see this picture, this rendering. Louis Pitcock was telling people at the event Saturday that we actually had the company come in and they built this monument for a day so that we could take photos, and then they took it down and stored it away. And there were some ready to believe that, but Photoshop makes these kind of things possible. So this is the new wall. So it will be put right here. Judge Bristow, who was chair of the, or he was, instrumental, he was heading the committee pretty good on that previous deal, told us one of the things that was lacking was the opportunity for people who were not eligible to go on the wall, they just have to turn them away. And so we don't want to do that. We want to have an opportunity so that if the person is a veteran and the committee is yet to decide if it's a Young County veteran, you put in your 2 cents for us to deliver tomorrow at our meeting, or whether they're just a veteran, that they have an opportunity because they are not inducted in Young County or they were not, their home of record was not Young County. We don't want to just say, thank you for your service, but you can't be part of this. So we'd like to offer bricks for sale. They've decided $75. Anyone could purchase a brick for a veteran's name. We are to decide if we're going with the 3-line or a 2-line. And we're thinking probably 2-line, and it just would be a name, their branch of service. So to be able to offer this, we've looked and talked about, what sidewalks. And Judge Bullock comes to most all of our meetings, and so he's already asked us some pretty hard questions, maintenance, etc. And we would do it in such a way that there would be no maintenance issues over that. The sidewalk we look at starting is right here. It makes sense to go right up between them. And it's a very pretty, you look at it and it just curves like that. So start at this end, and of course, as you do, it'd be laying it by the sections. So that once we were at the end of all of them that were purchased for that point, it would have to stop at a section line. Discussion about most likely that would be one that was done with the sand and the bricks put in it. Lewis Pitcock is on the committee, and Lewis is kind of overseeing all the construction aspects. He's assured us we have a concrete company to do all the concrete work donated. Any of this type of work we would look for to be donated as well.
He might have an inside track there.
I think he probably should. We haven't really pressed him on which company, but he just says, I assure you that I'll have one. He's also working with the bricks. He's talked with the monument company in Fort Worth that will do the engraving, and then he I think personally would probably take a truck and pick up all the bricks and buy them at
Here, are you talking about a section, one of these sections, this beginning in?
We would
one
begin
section?
right here, and we're betting that it will, it will fill up pretty good.
You gotta sell here. I don't mind.
Okay?
As long as you can get a section filled, then all you do is just take that one section out and go ahead and do that one.
Right,
And if you did that one section after you got it filled and let people see what it looks like, then you'd have a better selling.
right. I think, well, we've got a sale, I believe, already here, so, and I've had several people this weekend ask, because people are very disappointed. Lived in Young County, born in Young County, all my family lives here except me. I want to be on the wall, but the parameters are that you must be active duty or a veteran who, with an honorable discharge, who was inducted in Young County, or your home of record was Young County, and we actually get those DD 214s. Oh, we haven't talked, but I doubt that we go the DD 214 route on this, because it would be Kay Harden and them. We get DD 214s and copy them back and forth for one another. She gets many and I get some, and then I copy and bring them to her to make sure the courthouse has a record of these. And that would be a little unwieldy, I think. So we are requesting the Commissioner's Court to give us permission to go ahead with the project of selling bricks, knowing that we can put them in the court.
100% yes on my part.
I move that we approve this,
I second that.
sell pavers to anybody.
Okay, we've got a motion by Commissioner Sipes, second by Commissioner Wiley, to allow the new veterans, the New Century Veterans Memorial Project to sail and install on a current sidewalk, section by section. Bricks, are these only memorial bricks? Is that what they are?
It will only be,
Or
it will be a brick that we pick out. We would take a suggestion from the courthouse personnel as to what brick company and what kind of brick we want to use on that. Because we'll pick out a color and a brick, and Lowe's will pick them up and take them to the monument company for engraving. And that, just like with this memorial wall, where we will engrave these names. And on the prior wall, all the names were engraved, it's filled up, and it was done. This one is in such a manner that, hopefully, well, initially, we will probably pick up names on this first panel, that will pick up names that were left off of here. They didn't get DD 214s in or didn't hear about it in time, and they've been collected in Kay's office for years, because it's been 17 years since that. So that right there will probably include names that go on that one. Ideally you walk around that way and come around, and there'll be the, walk down through here, and then these names will start for the 21st century veterans. You can wrap around to the back, it'll hold 2,500 names. So that one has 5,400 on it, 54, 5,500 on it. So we don't know how long. We will, hopefully, we'll all be dead before the back starts getting filled. But I don't think wars are gonna ever stop.
No.
So we're doing that. So the bricks also, this fund has been set up at the Graham Community Foundation, so that the fund will always be there, always be monitored. And at the end of this one, the committee will sit down and say, what requirement are we going to set upon ourselves to meet every 3 years, 2 years, 5 years, so that it will be constantly updated, and it'll be a living memorial. So the bricks would be the same way, and I don't think I would ever see it, but I'd love to think at some point in history, every sidewalk in this courthouse square would be covered with a veteran's brick. Wouldn't that be awesome?
So what you're saying is this is a project with a beginning date but no end date?
That's it.
Is it gonna be lighted too? It'll be lighted?
Yes, I believe it is.
Yes, this one will be lighted this month, while it'll be. This one. Yeah.
That was discussed, I believe, to some degree, I believe, at the last meeting, one of these meetings.
Yes.
I would add that we are setting this up so that when we finish this project, there will be things left in place that 5 or 10 years down the road, if they want to do something else, a lot of that groundwork has already been set and is still sitting there with some money in it, waiting to be used for whatever comes next.
I compliment Rita and the rest of the committee that's gathered all this thing together. They've done a lot of work and done it in pretty short order, pretty quick time. Very good. You found
for your service.
Thank you.
funded vehicle, all those kinds of things that are important to a project like this.
We have a project coming up Memorial Day weekend. I encourage Jody to stay home, stay in Graham area, because we will be inviting all commissioners to make an appearance that morning to welcome from 75 to 400 or 500 motorcycles coming in. It's a veterans motorcycle ride, and you'll be seeing and hearing more of that. But I will be asking the commissioners to be there to welcome and send the program.
I also have a great nephew serving right now in the Marine Corps.
Very good.
There's another bricks. There's another brick song.
He's got a son serving. Sure does.
That's good.
Marine
That's
Corps.
good.
What date's it gonna be?
May the 27th, the Saturday of Memorial Day.
My birthday.
We'll remember that.
Make a birthday party.
Yeah.
Be 60.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Do that motion, all in favor? Anybody opposed? I wouldn't think so. Passed 5-0.
You know.
Okay, very good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Consider burn restrictions. Does anybody want to consider any burn?
I believe we're good. Everything's green.
It's pretty green. No action. Okay, we're a little bit, are you here for the? Yeah,
The only enterprise?
Enterprise, new editor.
excuse me?
New editor, is that your title?
You're here to discuss and review the radio?
No.
No.
He's just covering the meeting. Newspaper.
Oh,
Newspaper from
oh, you're the almond. You're an almond guy.
Yeah.
Okay, let's, come on up here just a minute.
Come on down.
So they didn't show up.
Alex,
Stub your toe? How'd it go? John Bullock?
David Miller.
David?
And Stacy, I didn't get information. Yeah.
Jim Wiley.
Hey, Jim. Live on a Wiley Road.
Matt Pruitt.
Matt?
I know you.
There we go. What's up?
Introduce yourself.
I'm the new editor, publisher over at the Only Enterprise. We changed hands as of 3 weeks ago. We're now going to be a nonprofit with kind of the focus of renewing only, so affecting social change there, development, job training, trying to partner with the schools and stuff like that to increase the livability and flourishing of only.
And you say nonprofit?
Yeah, we're going to be a nonprofit. We're going to be underneath the foundation. The idea is that they're going to do the same thing in other states around the country, to where utilizing a profit, an income-producing venture to produce profits to support scholarships, ministry, stuff like that in the town.
Okay, who put all this together?
Justin Pygott is the one who's headed everything up. The foundation is the LF and Carla Perry Foundation. So Carla has been the money behind it all.
Nonprofit doesn't mean no expenses.
No, it does not. The newspaper hadn't been profitable for quite some time, really. I mean, it's barely profitable. And so there's still plenty of expenses even to keep it going right now.
Foundation, the actual owner of
The foundation will be the owner.
of the Only Enterprise?
We still have a few more months left for the nonprofit to be finalized.
Okay, very good. Well, where's your family? You been taking notes?
I have, yes, sir.
You want me to
I do.
Y'all not going, are y'all going to compete with one another now?
No, we're friends.
Okay.
Yeah. I worked at the Graham Leader for 8 months and at the Only Enterprise doing advertising. So we talked the other day at the memorial thing. It's different. So we're a newspaper. So the newspaper is a business, but our newspaper isn't going to be for profit's sake, but rather the profits will be for the community. So
you working for free?
No. But we just have a little bit different focus. So whereas advertising might be one of the main focus of a normal newspaper, we may find more donations and stuff like that than normal.
Okay. Still get you at editor at Only Enterprise?
Yes, sir.
All right, very good.
Just David, thank you.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
That's a different avenue for me.
You think?
They may report on better news than that's in the back.
I'm sure there's gonna be more hometown focused.
Okay, we don't have a person here yet. I think that I told him on the telephone, I didn't think that we would reach that before about 11 o'clock, so we're gonna be in recess.
It's good. I'm glad it worked.
Worked.
It's a real pretty color.
10:35, we'll come back to order. We have Chuck
Swatsky.
Swatsky.
Been through this already, right?
He's with Warner
Radio Communications. That's correct.
He's going to give us a little rundown, I believe, on our dispatch system out at the Young County Sheriff's Office. I'll turn the meeting over to you.
Okay, thank you very much. Rich, I want to thank you for allowing us to come in and talk to you today about this very important issue, public safety, of course. Job one, right? I'm also here, by the way, with Debbie Males from Warner Radio and Communications. And Debbie has been in the radio business for a long time, much longer than me. So
I got a story to tell you.
Okay, later. So again, as the judge said, we want to talk to you about the need to upgrade the dispatch system here in Young County at the Sheriff's Department. The dispatch system was installed in 2012, about this time in April in 2012. So it is the computers and the drives and software and everything there is now reached a mature stage, I guess the word is. So
That doesn't seem like it's been too long ago.
Yeah, time goes by, right, I guess? Yeah, so what I've done here is provided, if you go to the second page here, there's a little kind of table of contents, 1 through 8, that kind of, and I don't intend to read this thing to you guys, so you have it, you can go through and read it, but the first part of it basically summarizes basically the Catalyst dispatch system that you have today, what it does and some of the features in it. So, you know, you may already know this information, but and how it works, but I thought we'd put something in to kind of explain to you what you got. Okay? Then there's a little bit of the support of the operating system in the computer. So again, it's old. It is Windows 7 based, no longer supported by Microsoft. Things like patches and updates that they would normally provide to their operating system, they no longer do that. So again, it's reached a mature stage. We all know about desktop computers and hard drives and age and what happens to them. We have put some data into this presentation on what you should realistically expect to get out of a computer. I also pulled some data of what happens to your hard drives and things like that after 5 years, and so there's some data on, you know, what the industry sees that happens with these kind of things. And then I'll move on to a proposed solution of how we can upgrade your dispatch system and provide longevity for another 5 years or whatever, however it lasts. So there's a proposed solution of the computer system that would go along with the Catalyst dispatch system that you currently have, and then a pricing proposal that would spell out what it would take to upgrade the system to a standard that today would allow you to grow into the next generation or the next 5 years of your public safety dispatch. There also is a section on a maintenance program provided by Catalyst, today, you do not have a maintenance program, so there's things like upgrades and software patches and different kind of maintenance and things like that that could be done with your system, which you don't have today. And the industry has moved from the old days when there was a lot of hardware and mechanical stuff running these things, to today, it's all software and it's all IP, internet and LAN connected systems. So there's a lot of software going on that really should be updated as new things become available, so you can take advantage.
What happens when you lose internet service?
When you lose internet service? Well, it's not actually connected to the internet. You can talk on this if you want, but you probably
It's
better.
all contained on the local area network. It doesn't, it's not relying on the internet.
Yeah, there is some internet because we have the ability to look at the system and see if there's a problem. So, it is sometimes connected to the internet. So obviously anything connected to the internet and security, especially in what you're involved with here, is very important. So generally, I think I'll see if anybody has a question at this point. And I'll throw it open if you guys want to
So
ask.
you're talking about the life of a computer system, you're talking 5 years.
Generally, we're talking, and who knows, it could be, there's a few things going on with the computer systems. One of them is, if you look at one of the photos I put in there, you'll see how it looks inside of the cabinet.
Yeah.
And the current one it's jammed in there. There's very little airflow going through there. It's always been a concern of ours of how this thing is put in the cabinet. So now, today, we're talking about having a much more powerful computer and a much smaller space.
Footprint is a lot
The
smaller.
footprint is a lot smaller, so that's going to help. But generally, what we see is with, for example, the hard drives, when you get a new hard drive, there's kind of like an infant mortality. And I'm talking about guys that like data centers that use lots of hard drives, but that's where I got their data from. So I see some infant mortality. So they see a little spike in failures, and then it'll level off, for the next 2 or 3 years.
So this would be based on an SSD rather than
Well, I'm talking about your current system.
Current system, okay.
The new system would be solid state drive, and there's some data in there on solid state drive. So basically, instead of what you have today with a rotating disk, and a head and a motor and a lot of mechanical stuff going on in your hard drive, The new system will be total solid state, so there's no new moving parts at all. It is completely enclosed. So yes, this would be the new generation of equipment that would be in there.
Y'all did install this in 2012.
I didn't.
Yes,
There's your person
Wasn't it
right there.
replaced after the lightning strike
Yep.
and it damaged everything and the insurance
Yes.
paid and we replaced everything?
Yeah, yeah, it was a totally new system, what y'all started out with, and when you built the law
07,
enforcement
yeah.
center, yeah, was really hardware-based, and then we went to a computer and software-based system.
But y'all need to replace those.
Pardon?
I'm talking Warner.
Warner replaced those.
Yeah, all of them.
Universal U.
Universally, yeah, right. So, our feeling in looking at the system is it definitely needs to be upgraded. And part of my message is that, as, public safety, you don't want to get into a situation that you're forced to make a decision when you're maybe not ready to do it, but if something fails, then you're going to be in a situation where you might not make the decision that you wanted to make, but you just got to do something. So we want to be proactive and help and work with you to understand that we can upgrade this system, and the upgrade of the system you have would be much less expensive than if you go with a brand new system starting from ground zero.
Is everything out there now currently B25? Okay.
Yes.
Was it pretty much B25 out of 2000?
Whenever we put it in, it was
That's what I thought.
Yeah, so from 2007, we started off with, so y'all were digital capable.
Right. That's right, it is digital, okay?
Yes, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and that is the system, as things change technology-wise, to be able to take advantage of new technology and digital. Yes. So generally, looking at cost, what you're going to need if you go to number 6 here with a colored pinkish pricing proposal here towards the back. I should have put page numbers, I apologize. Let's see, go up a little more. There we go, right there, next one. So the pricing proposal, first thing that has to happen is there's 10 radio gateways in your radio room. So each one of those has to be, we have to upgrade the software for each one of those radios. That's where I come up with this 10 units here, $14.95 to upgrade that software, $14,950. That gets you the latest Catalyst software that would run the system. And then the computers that go in there. There is a picture a little further back of the actual computer system. It's called the Elucia. And there's a picture of how it would look in the rack. It is, again, a lot smaller than what you have in there.
Size of the mouse.
Yeah, it's the size of, it's about like the size of a book, basically.
Yeah,
right?
it's about like this, about this thick.
Yeah.
So it's,
What it is
Right.
now.
One of the keys to this computer is, first of all, it is a totally enclosed computer, so there's not a fan that's introducing dust and things like that, and we get dust on the motherboards, and we stand a chance of getting shorting. Yeah, pardon me?
No concern with overheating?
No, because the way it's heat synced, it basically is heat synced to the case, so that's why we like to use it with these systems.
Moves the heat out. Moves the heat out.
it helps dissipate. You
It
have those
dissipates.
fins, so this computer has, you'll see the little fins coming off of it,
Like an
and that's what
air-cooled
helps
engine.
dissipates the heat.
And of course, the new processors are running at much lower voltages than what we've seen when we did it in 2012, so it's generating a lot less heat.
If the AC went out into the room, would it be a problem?
No, I don't think it will.
The other nice thing we like about this system is it has a 5-year warranty. So you're getting a computer system that, if you buy one at Best Buy, you might get 30 to 90 days, and then you can buy an extended one. This one comes with 5 years. So we like that because for your situations, again, you don't want to get stuck with something
Is that replacement parts and labor?
That's, you send a computer and we send you another one.
That's good.
Yeah, not labor.
It got expired.
Not labor, yeah. So that's why we like this one. So basically it would be, the rack, it would have 5 computers in the rack. Each computer will be running 2 radios. And there also is a little bit of redundancy in there because we can do more. So if something does fail and we gotta replace one, we can move it over to another one and you're good to go. So not a problem. Also, since this is so small, we wanted to replace the 2 computers that are in the dispatch center itself with the same computer. So that, again, small form factor, more room, you don't have to worry about it.
What windows is it on?
Windows 10.
10.
And the specs are also, I included a little bit here in the specs
The
themselves.
system we have now has reached the end of, all the rope is out on the Windows 7.
Yeah.
Right. And we, I mean, it's hard to say. We know what the data is for life of computers, and there's kind of a funny thing in here that we put in there in some of the data that I went through, and it said a lot, the way companies look at these computers is, many companies use the 3-4-5 theory. It's like, plan on 3 years, hope for 4, but don't push past 5. Okay, so that's kind of where we're at here, is we're in a situation where we expect, and we're not going to be surprised when, we may see a rash of hard drive failures, right away, Yes, we could replace the hard drive, So, but is that, then we have power supplies. These power supplies are probably overstressed.
Data transfers.
Yeah, all that kind of stuff. So our recommendation is this is the thing to do.
Can I ask you a question? I mean, we're not digital now.
Right.
How many, what do you think is the percentage of people that you service are digital or actually still in the Stone Age of not being digital?
Well, you're not in the Stone Age.
We're not?
It depends on what you want to do. Digital radios can do lots of cool things, but do you really need it to do a lot of cool things? We're putting a system in Wise County, and they can send texts on their land mobile radio to each other, for example. Well, it's cool. It works just like a cell phone,
Right.
But it's a land mobile radio. You can do that kind of stuff if you want to do digital. But for a lot of our fire departments, analog radios are fine. The
I
problem,
didn't know if digital reached out further than analog.
No.
And because we got such rural areas, and
You
sometimes
lose
it
some
just doesn't
coverage.
work.
If you looked at it on a chart, the way analog works, the analog signal will go out and then start tapering off.
Uh-huh.
And so where you get to like out here, it's scratchy, but sometimes you can understand what they're saying.
Right.
Whereas digital is gonna go out and then it's gonna drop. But where that analog is kind of like fading off here,
At least
digital
it's
will
still
just
capturing
totally
it.
cut off. So it kind of goes farther, but where you could actually kind of understand some voice sometime in analog, you won't in digital. I mean, you've seen on your TV.
Right.
You know how sometimes it'll start digitizing if you're watching off the air, and it'll start kind of flashing and then just totally go out? Your radio's gonna do the same
Like
thing.
there's places in Markley that, I mean, when I was a deputy, you couldn't even, you'd key up and you can't get nothing.
Right.
So.
And that's what, it's kind of funny because it doesn't extend it quite that much, but you get a lot clearer voice farther. But whenever it's gone, it's gone.
Okay.
Analog, you can still kind of hear somebody and you might hear some voice sometimes. So that's kind of the biggest difference. So it's not really a farther range,
So we're good with analog.
Analog is still good, but the federal government is wanting everybody to get P25 digital.
Our system is set up right now for digital.
Right.
The console is digital capabilities.
Right, and your radios.
And the radios in the vehicles.
Right.
All that
and
stuff.
I don't know when they're planning on narrow banding again.
No.
That's probably.
They keep saying, what, every 2 years? Oh, we're gonna do it next year. We're gonna do it next year.
Yeah.
10
Well,
years now.
I know it, yeah. Well, they're still looking at, we went to 12.5 narrowband, and they're still looking at even cutting that in half to go to 6 1/4. So you'll see some stuff that's 6 1/4. Digital mobile radio, DMR, I don't know if you've heard that, that's, different one. That's what it uses, is a 6 1/4 and not 12.5. So, and the government has said, the FCC has said they're gonna split it again, that's what he's referring to as narrowbanding again.
And if
That's-
they do that, then
that's
your
like
analog radios wouldn't be able to handle it.
20 something, it's, like you said, about 10 years away still.
Yeah.
So if you did have to move.
They said that
to
10 years ago, didn't they?
Exactly.
If you did have to move to digital, the system is perfectly capable.
What they're doing is pushing us to go digital. Because
They do.
analog, when they did it the first time, whenever they did it, They cut our distance by a whole bunch,
Yeah, it did reduce the coverage.
a whole bunch, and it really put us in a bad situation, unless you're in America, when it
Yeah.
did that.
It did, I've heard
It
so
did-
many.
It's not gonna affect people that's in cities that have repeaters to bounce off of, but we don't
Yeah.
have that here.
Yeah, it worked fine, you know, the city, it didn't affect so
Yeah.
much, but yeah, for the county and the deputies,
Right.
for them to get out, I mean, they just,
And the big
it was
counties are fine because-
detrimental.
I mean, they're as fine
Yeah.
as we are. I guess you could say rugged.
And what it, you know, to get the coverage, you need to put up more repeaters, you know, a couple of repeaters and, you know, 2 or 3 more repeaters, and you get good coverage. And I think you still need to do that with digital, if I'm not.
Right. Explain that a little bit to the radios that go to SOPD, EMS. Is that what I'm supposed to talk
Yeah,
about?
so if you look at, so this photo here,
Yeah.
in the cabinet front, it shows you the 10 radios. So, and behind these radios in the cabinet, and it's sort of like looking like a mishmash of wires and equipment in the back. But if you look at this picture, you can see the actual PCs that I'm referring to. They're right there. You can see too. So yeah, so that's what we're referring to. You can see how they're jammed in there. You know, and so you know, we've always been concerned about the heat that's in there. So yeah, when we refer to radios, that's what we're referring to. That photo there. So, what the proposal basically also goes into, in the last couple of pages, a maintenance program for software and hardware. And since you guys are public safety, and this is very critical, you know, we recommend that you buy one of the maintenance programs, okay? So the last couple of pages, this is under number 7, it kind of explains what Catalyst's maintenance program is. And what happens is if you would buy the maintenance program, it includes the upgrade of the software with the maintenance program.
I thought you said it's 5 years.
No, I'm talking about the warranty on the computer.
Oh, okay.
Okay, this is on the actual dispatch.
I got you.
So under the pricing proposal, where I told you that we would have to upgrade the radios, 10 radios in the cabinet at $14.95. If you bought a maintenance program, then we would waive that. You can take that out and replace it with the cost of the maintenance program. So you get the maintenance program, which means a person from the actual factory comes out, you know, once or twice a year and does, you know, checks out the system, upgrades the software, makes sure that it's working properly.
Which one are you gonna waive?
Pardon me?
If we did the maintenance program, which one are you gonna waive?
The 14.
So the gateway options,
This one right here, the very first one. Yeah. And actually, there's a little thing in parentheses.
Oh, it's 3,000.
Waived with 2-year support plan.
That's the radios.
So if you bought a maintenance program, there's a software maintenance program, and then there's a hardware software maintenance program.
1,500 or 15,000.
Yeah. So, and again, you know, I foresee that, you know, coming up with additional quotes for you and things like that, but I just wanted to show you just what we're, you know, what we're.
Well, you keep going there, you're gonna talk about real money.
So basically, you know, in order to upgrade the system, get it up to speed, exactly where it should be, get you the new computers, get everything ready to go, and let's say that you took advantage of the 2-year hardware and software maintenance program, all in, we're at about $41,000. Okay? If you chose the other maintenance program, it's a little bit less, it'd be approximately $33,000. So that's the difference between bringing in the 2 maintenance programs. Judge, I think I'm confusing you because you're paging around like.
No, I was just trying to find your numbers. I didn't find those.
So the 41,000 is with the maintenance plan.
Yes, the 2-year,
Okay.
yeah, the 2-year, so, yeah, and that is the full, that's this one here, the full hardware and software maintenance program. Okay. And again, you would take that first figure where I have the 10 at $14.95, just take that line out and add in what the maintenance program costs in its place, and then you'll get the total cost.
And then a 33 is without it.
33 would be with the less maintenance for it, right? So, and, yeah, we recommend the full maintenance program because you're in public safety and we want to make sure the system is, maintained properly. So I know it's a little confusing, apologize for that. Bottom line, we again want to make sure that whatever happens, we're proactive and we don't run into a situation where, again, we got to make a decision at the last minute.
Makes more sense than cell phones. Go try to buy a new plan there.
Right.
That's for sure.
Yeah. So can I answer any questions that you might have?
So the 2-year maintenance program is 14,000.
There's two maintenance programs. There's a software maintenance program, that's 14,000, and then there's a hardware software maintenance program.
What's the hardware software?
That would be just keep going, that's like the last, keep going. Okay, so this one here you're looking at, that's just the software, and then the next page gives you what the hardware program is.
Is that
Hardware and
is that the same as firmware?
firmware. It'd say
Well,
firmware.
some of the hardware, so there's some components that go between the computer and the radio. And so it includes all of those hardware cables and the computer, so that's where the hardware falls into that one more.
But a lot of times when you do software upgrades, you've got to do basic firmware upgrades to make compatibility work.
I haven't seen that on these, on y'all's system. And I don't even think in the PCs. I don't think we've ever had to update any firmware in that. All the software has just been fine. Sometimes in the radio you have to update firmware.
Is there any cost pushed on?
And the radios are separate emails.
Like separate.
Yeah.
I can't answer.
The only PD?
That's up to us.
I assume that you're charging them the fee for dispatching for them.
Yeah, not much.
Yeah. If anyone needs a question that comes up, Corey's got it.
Yeah, I got one. Just saying what we got right now. Would you give it, like you got cancer, you got 6 months to live. What have we got with ours, do you think, to
That's
live?
like buying insurance, right?
Yeah.
You want to buy your health plan or not?
Right, don't get sick.
What I do know is I know what the data is for computers that are 5 years or older. That I know. Okay?
Right.
So I was.
And we're running on 6 years, right?
You're past your, this
Well,
month, you're passing your, what I say,
Well,
2012?
2012, yeah.
So, I know what the data shows in the industry, okay? I also know how those things are jammed into the cabinet, and I know that there's a lot of heat, so you know what heat does to components, right?
And
I know there's a lot of dust.
We've already had a couple of hard drive failures, I think one of them was fixed and the other one wasn't. We had an issue in dispatch to where, I'm not really sure what happened with it, but reinstalling drivers, I thought it was gonna be the sound card had died. I wasn't sure exactly, but I did some work on it and I got it back. Now, I could not guarantee how long it's gonna stay that way.
Right.
So reliability wise, we're at end of life.
Yes.
And it's kind of what I put on before, yes, maybe it's gonna last another year, I don't know, 6 months.
So we got less than a year to live.
You don't wanna get in this, you don't wanna
I'm
get
gonna
in a
give you 6 months.
situation where you guys are
it's
sitting
summer.
at this table and it's died,
Yeah.
and then you have to make a decision and, and people are at risk.
Here's the other, there's one AC vent that goes back there, and so the equipment, of course, generates a lot of heat just at
Right.
that cell. So I think we're coming into the summer months, and of course, like you said,
It's gonna get warmer.
heat is detrimental to all the equipment, coolness to keep it operating efficiently is good. The radios are designed to work in high heat, I think their limit is like 114, 115 degrees. That's what they're, they can run all day on that. But the PCs, of course,
So this new equipment will run in a more advantageous climate.
it will, just because it's smaller. It's solid state, it's not
Generates less
gonna
heat,
generate
that's
that heat.
Yeah, definitely the components are running at lower voltages.
And, the pictures don't really do it justice, is how it's packed in. Because, those PCs are wedged in. Of course, this cabinet was made whenever we had Zetron stuff, and there was plenty of room. And then we come in, with the PCs and they happen to be just a regular desktop, Dell Optiplex, so they're like this, and so, I don't know how we got them all in there, actually. We did it,
We're probably lucky all of them are still working, running Dell Octoplex 5 years, because as y'all all know, just for what's going on here, we've had to replace a lot of PCs, and I've gone to solid state hard. I've gone to what they're actually recommending for this is what I've been replacing with as we go. And we've done good at 4 years. We've got a few that are 5 that's just hanging out, so.
Yeah, and the other nice thing about these is, I don't know, I think you kind of touched on the dust. Whenever I came and was working on the sound card, we opened that up, and I mean, it had layers of dust. And, we don't need the dispatchers opening those up and vacuuming them out. Because I mean, they're sitting under the consoles, and kind of in the back, and you really don't even want to mess with them. But whenever I was there, that was one thing we did, and the layer of dust in it, you just can't fight that. It's going to get in there because of the fans.
And with the fans, y'all would clean that.
Yeah.
We don't have to, because that one is totally encased, so there's.
Yeah, there's no
dust.
fans in
There's
it.
no dust that's gonna get in there. That computer.
I don't think we have a choice. I mean, we kind of have to. I don't want it on my conscience.
You got the money in your budget?
All this fall.
Okay, on this software maintenance program, there's some caveats in this deal.
Yeah.
It's not exactly 14,000.
Yeah, because in the, yeah.
In other words, you've got after-hour charges is $100 an hour with a $250 minimum.
Yeah.
And also on the on-site technical optimization visits or on-demand.
Yeah, you know what, I think when I figured that one up, I actually put in, I actually think I put in for one visit on that. So, yeah, that should probably, I apologize for that. I should probably get you a better explanation of that. Because I think what I figured in is they were gonna come out one time. So that is probably not.
See, that'd be making it up there.
Yeah. And that would be a situation on the maintenance for software. It would be how, do they,
But isn't that what this?
But you'd want to look at number 7,
Isn't that what this program is designed for, is when you buy that, for them to come out and take care of that?
Right, yeah, what I'm saying is I think I added a visit in that 14,000 already.
Well, wait a minute, let me address this.
Okay.
On the basic, it's really the manufacturer taking care of software glitches that may come up. You're gonna get releases, so if they found a glitch, like 2 or 3 months down the road, we're gonna be able to get that without having to pay for it. So they found a glitch, maybe we haven't experienced that glitch yet, but if it comes up, then we're gonna have to pay for that. So the basic covers all of the software. Whenever they release an update, a patch, like Microsoft does occasionally, we'll get that. Otherwise, we won't. Or y'all get that. I tend to become y'all, that's hard, but that's what the basic does. And I don't know, I think it says in there about the point upgrades. What they're talking about on the point, you get point upgrades with the basic. So they come out with their version 5.1. The point releases, they come out with 5.2, you get that release.
Mm-hmm.
They come out with 6.2, you don't get that one, because that's a major upgrade. Yeah.
On your point release
So
enhancements.
you'll get point on the basic.
Okay.
And you don't get a visit from the manufacturer. So the manufacturer, they send a guy out on the premium. They send a guy out twice a year, goes through the computers, cleans them up, defrags them, applies any firmware, any software, all the firmware and software updates that they've done that are major upgrades. That's your premium. That's why, it costs more, because they actually send somebody out.
Well, do they remote in on everything else, or does the
Yeah.
machines do the errors?
Right.
So you know when something's faulty
Yeah.
and everything?
Yeah, they can remote in and do, that's how come they don't have to come out, but it's like just doing a health check. So you're getting a biannual health check on the computers with the premium, and you're not getting it with the basic. With the basic, they will remote in and give you the point upgrades and, just kind of check the heartbeat,
Yeah, I think on your question, I figured in this visit part in this 14,000. So that's why you see that, although it does say 1,500 a day. I figured some visits in that 14,000. So if they never came out, it would be less than that.
It'd be less than 14?
Yes.
So 14 would be the most you would pay.
Right, yeah, that includes visit, so, I should have cleared that up on that, because that looks like, you're right, it looks like.
It looks like you're gonna charge you more.
Yeah, no, that's not the case.
I'm still not sure what you're talking about.
That is too much.
Well, on this sheet here, it says on-demand $1,500 a day. Okay? And
Right.
so his question was, is it 14,000 plus another, if they come out, for 2
No,
days?
that it would be, yes.
Then it would be?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah. That's what, because,
Yeah, you were talking about labor.
What equipment's currently out there, what brand of equipment?
Well, the PCs are Dell Optiplex, and the radios are made by Kate Radio, K-A-I-T.
Is that what you're proposing in this?
Well, the radios would remain the same. We're not replacing the radios themselves. So we're just replacing the Dell computers. Right, and
it's software.
Okay, with this new upgrades to these new computers, what more would it offer the dispatchers capability of doing besides what they're doing right now?
Well, there's really not anything new that they need to do. I mean, they're doing everything they need to do. So it's a,
It's a reliability issue.
Well,
Yeah,
what I'm getting at in this deal, what I read in this, what I've been reading in this other part of the stuff that y'all sent us earlier, that they'd be able to talk on more than one radio at the same time.
They can do that now.
They can do it right?
Yeah, and they can still do it, I think your base, I mean, not even just your basic, but your common capabilities in the dispatch console, I haven't seen anything new come up, because they're always going to be able to patch, they can simulcast, they can page, transmit and receive, they could, select your channel, recording. That's pretty much what is always, included. And so this is still the same.
I think one of the things is the old software that currently exists is not optimized or written for the operating system for the new computers. So old software that you have today and new computer is not going to
Yeah,
talk.
the format of it looks different. It's more updated. It's going to look a little bit different. But the features, yeah, your basic features that they have to have.
The other things that they may have thrown in some new ways to do screen design or some other
Yeah,
cool
the
stuff.
screens will look different. We have a little bit more capability. I'm much more familiar with the newer stuff.
However, I can go back, which I did, and provide you with the differences between old software and new software. I can definitely go back and do that.
Well, it should be faster. That should be a given.
Yeah, the processor itself.
I think the processor and solid state are going to make it faster.
Definitely the solid state drive will access and read and write a lot.
This premium software run us about $357 a month. When you figure the discount that we're getting with $8,585 is what it's gonna net with the discount base.
The difference between
No, just
taking out the one and adding
the other. Which is about $12 a day or so.
of the dispatch system here.
I'm sorry, what?
How many dispatch systems are we doing and working on?
We currently have one that's a multi-state, that it's an ambulance service that's based out of Hope, Arkansas. They have stations and they're running, let's see, they've got 6 dispatchers and running 11, I think, sites, which are all remoted in. So it's in Oklahoma, Mississippi, Arkansas. They keep me on the road a lot, but not just for the consoles. But they've been running that one, and then 2 or 3 other ones. I mean, we've done I've done a ton of them over the years.
But one just like this, you're gonna put in Wise County, you said?
No, Wise County recently went with the E.F. Johnson trunking, P25, and so they bought the E.F. Johnson console. As far as this one, we've got, like I said, we've got this one. The biggest one we've got is running with the ambulance service. It's a multi-state.
This is just, you call it Catalyst, this is a system,
It's a manufacturer.
Manufacturer's name.
That's the name of the manufacturer.
and then you're talking about a Johnson?
Well, that's what Wise County.
Okay.
Johnson makes a console. Zetron, that's originally what we started with Zetron.
Okay, is this the only one that y'all have?
Yeah, pretty much, because,
Catalyst?
yeah, I really like this one. The voice quality on it has just been awesome. The latency, I mean, from the time you hit transmit till the time it comes out over the radio. Like I said, this is the one center that's in Hope, Arkansas. You know, you can be in Mississippi and listen on the phone, and you hear dispatch, and it's just milliseconds before you hear it come over the radio. So, you know, I mean, it's just traveling over the internet. And whenever you go digital and you go over IP, radio over IP, and voice over IP, that's where you really want to keep that voice quality, because it's basically sending it in packets. You know, and so it sends it out in a packet, and it has to decode these packets to go out over the air. That's why I went with Catalyst, because they just ruled in that. Just sounded like, you know, I'll monitor y'all sometime at my office. I'll pull it up on the computer whenever had VPN in here, and it was like the dispatcher sitting right next to me. You know, it is just clarity, and so that's why, you know, Catalyst just really excelled in that. I don't know if I answered your question. I thought
And definitely there are other dispatch systems, but, you know, when you're starting from the ground up, instead of just, you know, doing what we're doing here and upgrading what you have, you're really talking a lot more expense if you're starting over, which you could, but, you know, we're basically taking something, you know, we're still using the radios and just upgrading what you have to the, you know, the newest technology that the company offers. And so you're, you know, I don't want to throw out a figure, but it'd be a lot more than what I'm talking about here if you started from zero.
There's no value to our old system, it's just obsolete. There's nobody else running that system, we need it for a small part here.
Well, you're basically, no, you're just talking software though, you know, and in the hardware, the computers.
Worn out.
Right. You know, you can do whatever you want with the PCs, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Buy a truckload of them at Sonic Auction for $5.
Well, there's,
I mean,
there's
you're
there's some silver in them and stuff you guys can get.
If you want to go through the trouble.
Yeah, so I mean, you know about retiring the PCs, I mean, that's just the standard, because that's what they are. But the software, you know, that's not something you can really do, because you're upgrading yours. You have to have a key for that software, right? You know, everything has that. So you still got the key. For somebody else to run that software, they're gonna have to get the key. You know, and so it's really no value for anybody else. There's, you know,
You have your monitors and your keyboards that you currently use, potentially you can use that as well, unless you, I didn't include cost of monitors and keyboards, you guys probably have your own sources for things like that.
The monitors we have now, because they're nice big monitors.
I know it. That's how come I told Chuck not to quote monitors, because y'all provided it in there. I know it. They weren't, and they were good. So the monitors are just PC monitors.
Right.
You know, you can buy those, and I know Marcia had bought nice ones originally.
They're
And
big,
so-
they're
yeah.
nice, they're crisp. There's nothing wrong with them.
So that's why I was like, you know, there's no need to quote y'all monitors. It's an unnecessary expense.
Marcia, how long have you worked with these folks?
For who?
Them?
How long have you worked with Warner?
With them.
Since we did the new jail, I've worked with
So
them.
then,
I've never met him, I've worked with her directly on a day-to-day basis for a long, there for a
10
long
years,
time.
yeah. Wasn't it? Yeah.
Sir?
you like them?
I liked it.
I'll turn my head.
I'm
That's
just
not
putting you on
what
the
this,
spot, I mean.
it's not, to me, it's not about the like or dislike.
What I'm trying to say is, are they pretty efficient on what you ever needed?
Yeah. I mean, we had times, we had a few little bumps in the road, but I'm not sure that it wasn't caused by other factions of building a jail and starting from scratch
Right.
and, you know, that type of thing. And I don't know that it's cost effective for us to go in and go with one of the, go back to Zetron and have to build from the ground up. or go from-
Rather than build on what we got.
You know what I'm saying? Rebecca she's used a lot of different radios through the different dispatches you worked in, which, I mean,
They're all different, but basically all the same.
they're all comparable. I mean,
The only issue I've had with Warner is when we had the squelch on the locker that we
couldn't get fixed, but I did, Motorola finally came in and did put an audio board in and fixed it, so. But it is a PC-based radio. I've been back in that room, which is horrible, and just going based on what I know about the whole setup and what's happening, the computers are gonna wear out, be one or all of them at the same time, they're going, because it's happening here, and it being solid state would make it a lot more redundant, I think, and quicker. So, you stay with this.
How many techs do y'all have?
Well,
Me and one other.
So if you got several systems that's down, then what do you do?
We wait.
That's not good, especially if we're paying for a warranty.
But we do, I mean, we have to wait.
That's just, I don't think, whenever y'all called, it was always like within 15 minutes.
Yes, I've actually,
for what might happen.
Yeah.
she's walked me through stuff and she be in Arkansas.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
And I know,
So, we've done that more than once.
the one thing that Rebecca was talking about was the logger. That's the voice recorder, which is a totally separate piece of equipment. And there was, from what I understand, y'all were hearing the keying tones and it was going to a beep whenever you play back the recording. And I'm not sure, we put a piece of equipment in and I'm not sure what happened to that piece so what happens, you have your transmit and your receive, and what it needed to do was sum those two together so that you hear it all in one stream instead of like on two sides. And so she's hearing that, from what I understand. I wasn't called on that part.
Well, that's the deal
On the
on that
logging
particular
part?
part. They got the radio without saying, hey, we're putting all this new stuff in. Still, we have the same recorder. We should have matched those where those.
There was some
There was some-
disparity there.
Right. And that person didn't ask, hey, what do you have? What's the equipment? What do we need? What is it we got? They just done it.
That's another kind of side point
It
here.
is, it is.
So circumstances, we're talking about the expenditure
Right.
of getting the funds to upgrade. We're just approaching 7 months deep in our fiscal year. We're going to start pretty quickly in the construction of a new budget. Something that needs to be planned for, obviously, it looks like. Yes.
And let me address Matt's, concern. What if everything goes down at once? It's probably not gonna happen, but we've got Chuck can come out, we've got another tech that can come out. I've got another tech, he's not real tech, but I can talk him through anything and he understands, And so, we've got other people that we can call on, if I had to be in one spot and Chuck went to another spot, we will get you taken care of. I have no doubt about that.
Well, like
We've
with the
always
lightning
had.
strike, apparently, that's just happens.
Right.
Were they pretty Johnny, y'all were pretty Johnny on the spot, or?
Well, of course, I think I was because I got the call and we were probably here at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I had Zetron on the phone. One reason I wanted to get away from Zetron too was for this reason. Theirs is also hardware. They make the equipment.
It's proprietary.
Yeah, and it's proprietary, so the only place I could get it was from Zetron.
Right.
Now, in Zetron's credit, I did call them at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and they sent a tech to their office, got something, and boxed it, and we had it next day. So they flew it in. It cost about $1,000, and that was, quite a few years ago. I think it costs a lot more now. But I was like, oh my gosh. And then, and then of course the nature of lightning is, okay, what's gonna fail next?
Yeah.
And that's what we ended up fighting was,
Right.
okay, we got this part going, we kinda got you back up limping,
Where's it gonna
and
fail?
then, I know, and then it was just, we kept seeing more failures. And so it was like, we've gotta do something different. And that's really what pushed me to Catalyst. They were one of the first ones that did totally off the shelf. I'd say totally, they do have an interface box, but, if the computer failed today, we could run down to Walmart. It's not one I would recommend because it's not, it's not industrial, it's not heavy duty, but we could get you back on with instead of having to call.
And I do.
Well, lightning strike's not like
You know,
that in all their locations and whatnot.
No. In the case of this system, we would be able to just move to another one of those PCs.
Yeah,
Because assuming they weren't all damaged.
Right.
But if you got a lightning strike and it took out, 1 or 2 radios, we still have redundancy in the new PCs that we could move one of the radios over and it would still handle it. Yeah,
Right.
if it hits the broom and the whole thing blows up, we're in trouble.
We're keeping it
Probably all are.
down here,
Yeah.
so we wouldn't have to go to Walmart.
Is there a spare out there?
We're
Yeah.
keeping one in-house that if she goes down, that comes out and I automatically order another one to put it in its place. Because the people need to keep working.
So we got a lot of checking for it.
I work.
Okay, so, yeah, please reach out to me if you have any questions that come up, you know, I'm sure you'll have discussions and there'll be other things you'll think of. And,
Thank you, Charles, for your
we'll definitely.
presentation.
Thank you.
Something obviously we're gonna have to take under consideration pretty near time.
One last question, do you guys have a program that you lease equipment out of? If you buy a system, you can lease it and pay a monthly payment rather than pay for all the equipment up front. Would that be of any interest to you? Because we do work with leasing companies where people buy equipment, but they lease it for a period of time.
We've used
Instead
that
of-
option on some other things.
Yeah.
It's always good to have multiple options.
You might think about that. We work with a few radio company, you know, that work with radios, you know, that provide leases. So you might think of that too. Come to a, you know, a monthly payment, and then at the end of the term, you don't own the equipment. You're done with it, you know. So that might be something that you might consider too. Okay. Well, thank you all. Appreciate your time.
Thank you,
Nice
Charles.
to meet you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thanks for your time, Judge. Thank you very much for your time.
Swatsky.
Thanks, Matt, for making fun of me.
He's good at playing. Good to see you, Charles.
I wish I had that, man. That's cool.
Tell the family.
I will. Oh, good seeing you. Take care.
On camera there now.
Oh,
I see that.
yeah, kind of in a way, you know.
Thank you all.
Good seeing you.
Here's my nieces and
Debbie
nephews' cousins.
Halls.
Mouse.
Halls.
Yeah,
Debbie Halls.
Debbie Mails.
like male and female.
M-A-L-E.
I know.
You know, the sad thing is, the minute we buy this, it's just gonna be outdated already.
Well, you know, we took that, we took
Name
that,
something that we can buy in this category.
we took that chance on the voting machines too, didn't we?
I guarantee you.
Did the right thing there.
Well,
This needs to be a budget item.
well, it does need to be a budget item, and there's some other things going on that, you know, we'll probably address pretty soon.
But doesn't change the fact it still needs to be a budget item. Sheriff, what's your overview?
You have anything you need to share with us?
Sooner the better. I don't want to wait till the last minute.
You don't want it to go down on you,
Absolutely.
midnight on Memorial Day weekend?
Any day.
Any day. They're all the same, aren't they?
Yeah, thunderstorm will come up
Yes, sir.
just in a night or two.
Yes, sir.
Y'all didn't mention lightning.
Sorry, I jinxed it, didn't
I'm
I?
not trying to even mention any bad stuff.
Yeah.
I just think it, you know, it's outdated. We know it's outdated. I
The
don't,
thing is, brand new stuff is not,
oh, I'm,
lightning will do.
we'll have that all the time, but I mean,
But repairing, finding parts and getting
Right.
it back up running again.
we're barely having some of the things that are barely running as it is, you know, just kind of Band-Aid together, so
This system would really reduce the number of moving parts in that system.
absolutely.
Solid state, yeah.
Is there any other item that might need to be addressed here before we adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Anybody got a second? We're gonna have 3-2 vote on that.
I'll second that.
I made mine.
Silence.
Can someone come in
All in
and say
favor?
something to you guys?
Yes, come on in.
See it work without somebody else's
This
second, man.
is Miss Dunlap.